सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। You're seeing chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna has asked the question in shlokas 33 and 34 that Bhagavan, mind is extremely fickle, and to harness the energy of this mind is equivalent to harnessing the energy of the winds. Vayorivasu dushkaram is what he says. So in 35th shloka, Bhagavan Krishna answers the question of Arjuna in brief. That yes, indeed, no doubt, Arjuna, it is difficult to control the mind. Asamshayam mahabaho manodur nigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. So Bhagavan gives the solution, and the solution Bhagavan has repeated throughout this entire Upadesh of Bhagavad Gita in various chapters, in very different ways. The same theme carries out. This is to remind us that we must work on ourselves. We have to work on ourselves. The only way for us to reach perfection in this human birth is to strive for it. By concluding that mind is fickle, that mind is very difficult to work with, is not an excuse that we should resort to. Bhagavan has repeated this, abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate, is his answer over here in 6th chapter. In other chapters, he repeats this idea of abhyas and vairagya as well. So, when we talk about abhyas, abhyas is practice. Time and again, we do not make excuses for our mind. No matter however many times we fall, we stand up, pick up the pieces of our mind, tell ourselves, I'll be better tomorrow, and move on. Move on. All of our problems of life, they start with mind, and all of our problems of our life end with our mind. Mana eva manushyana karanam bandha mokshayoho. Amrit Bindu Upanishad starts out with this first laudable mantra that mind alone is the cause of karanam, bandha for bondage, and moksha for liberation. So over here, when Arjuna complains that the mind is not coming under my control in meditation, how many times should I meditate? Should I continue? This mind doesn't allow me to even enjoy a moment of silence. It will be difficult initially, but it will get better. It will get better. It is a function of discipline. If we give up on this mind, thinking that tomorrow it will come under my control, better, it's not going to. The same mind will continue from today to tomorrow and from this birth to next birth. It is the same mind. When we make a pratignya, a vow, that I am going to change this pattern, that is the dawn of sadhana. And that requires practice, abhyas, and vairagya. Vairagya is another very, very essential ingredient that goes in creating a robust spiritual personality. Vairagya is our ability to maneuver ourselves through various situations in life without getting stuck in it. We must. We have come alone and we have to depart alone. And from the womb till the tomb, we come in contact with umpteen people, situations, objects, and we leave our mark on everything. But wise is a person who interacts with this world and leaves the world where they found it. The ownership of the house, the ownership of the car does not reside in a title that a DMV issues or the title company on behalf of the local government that it issues. The ownership of property is a chain which exists in our mind, which says, I own this. This belongs to me. The objects which are part of Milky Way galaxy are all going to be left here. We cannot take anything with us. If we are blessed with certain amount of wealth, all that means is Lord has made us trustee of that wealth, hoping we will put it to best use while we are alive. Because after we leave, it's all going to be over here. The kith and kin are going to do whatever they feel is appropriate with wealth. Same thing with material objects. Vairagya is an ability for us to live in this world and yet remain distant from this world. It is a very mature quality of the mind, which understands the laws of universe. And upon understanding the laws of the universe, the person decides to leave the objects where they found them. This is what Bhagavan Krishna gives as a remedy for meditation. Meditation is turning inwards. But if our mind is external or extroverted, continuously dwelling on the world of objects, very difficult to progress inward. So, beautiful solution Bhagavan has given as abhyas, practice. And we don't have to sit for 20 hours or so. Just a habit of cultivating 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, then 20 minutes, as per what one thinks is ideal. In a household life, it is said that an optimum meditation, if somebody reaches very high degrees of meditation, not more than 42 minutes. That's more than enough. Because the responsibility of the jiva is more important. If the responsibilities are taken care of, the mind will automatically be quiet and pensive. To the degree to which we tend to our dharma, to that degree, the mind will become pacified. And abhyas becomes easy. In this light, Bhagavan Krishna has beautifully given an answer. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. Continuing with shloka number 36, Bhagavan says, Asamyatatmana yogaha dushprapya iti me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata shakyo vaptumupayataha. So Bhagavan says, asamshayatmana yogaha. Not asamshaya, sorry. Asamyata. My mistake. Asamyata. Asamyatatmana yogaha. Asamyatatmana, asamyam. The person who is uncontrolled. Asamyata, uncontrolled. Atma over here is not the self within, but the lower self referred to as the mind. A mind which is uncontrolled, asamyata, asamyata atma, Bhagavan says, yogaha dushprapya. Yogaha, the yoga of meditation. Dushprapya, difficult to attain. Iti me matihi, thus Arjuna is my opinion, my thought. Bhagavan says it is my opinion that as long as a person is uncontrolled at the level of mind, very difficult to meditate. So when it is said that a person is uncontrolled at the level of mind, it is understood that if mind, which is the king of the senses, is not under control, obviously the senses are also not under control. So pancha jnanendriyani, pancha karmendriyani, they are all running wild. Imagine a chariot with 10 horses, and the charioteer who presides over that chariot finds themselves when each one of these horses want to run in a different direction. What would be the state of affairs of the chariot? It will collapse. That chariot will be destroyed. This is how powerful the senses are. If we do not learn to keep our own senses under our own control, it will get the better of us. It will destroy us. The senses are extremely powerful. The hearing, the seeing, the smelling, the tasting, the touching are the 5 senses of perception. The world, the universe enters through these 5 gopurams. And a messenger is asked to respond to these stimuli in return by the hands, the feet, the speech, the genital organ, and the anus. These are the 5 karmendriyanis, the organs of action. It is with these organs of action that we respond to this world. And if our speech is not censored, if our limbs are not in proper control, we create not only havoc for the society, not only do we become laughing stock of the society, but in the process, we cultivate more karmic debt by unruly behavior. In spite of Bhagavan giving us the mind and the intellect, if we do not use it, and if we lash out in this world, we will create more karmic debt. And when this happens, not only do we lose a temporary peace of mind and we are not able to enter meditation, but in the long run, we have cultivated a destiny of pain and suffering. This is what Bhagavan Krishna means as asamyatatmana yogaha. Asamyata. Asamyata, atma, this mind which is uncontrolled. Yogaha dushprapa iti me matihi. Bhagavan says it is very difficult to attain meditation according to me. Vashyatmana tu yatata. But on the other hand, Vashyatmana, the one whose mind is under control. Shakto vaptumupayataha. There exists upaya, a means to reach meditation, to reach savikalpaka samadhi and nirvikalpaka samadhi. For the person whose senses are under control, mind is under control, for such a person, there exists everlasting peace. Everlasting union with the Absolute is what Bhagavan has very beautifully said. You may have seen the chariot metaphor which exists on almost all Bhagavad Gitas and in most Indian homes. In even this book over here, you can see the chariot over here, and Lord Krishna is speaking with Arjuna, and over here we see all the horses. The horses represent the senses. The charioteer is the intellect. Imagine, and the reins. The horses are tied with reins, and the charioteer holds the reins. The charioteer is buddhi, and the reins are the mind, which integrates the five senses and keeps the horses under control. And you may have seen Lord Krishna is not even looking at the horses. He's turned his gaze away from the horses and is communicating with Arjuna, who represents Atma. He's the owner of the chariot. He has asked Krishna to be his charioteer. The chariot does not belong to Krishna. A chariot belongs to Arjuna. He's the owner of the chariot. In this chariot metaphor, if we allow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita to be Lord Krishna, when it is saying over here, iti me matihi, mati, my opinion, my thinking, my intelligence, my intellect. If we allow our intellect to be doped in Krishna's teaching and make it Bhagavan Krishna, you better believe it, this chariot is going to pass through the gateways of liberation. This charioteer of Krishna was enough to take the 5 Pandavas on the other side of Rana Nadi, the river of war. Bhagavan Kevata Krishna, the ferryman who took the Pandavas across this river of war. Bhagavan Krishna, that mati allowed them to cross. Krishna doesn't even look at where the horses are because he knows they are all in the right place, ready to obey the command that he releases in terms of which direction to go and how fast to gallop. So, if we want to abide in meditation, and even if we do not want to sit and meditate, but if we want to enjoy our life, there is a methodology for enjoyment, and that is a firm control of these senses and mind, is what Bhagavan is saying over here. So, this is called Adhikari Lakshan, qualifications of the student. In the last shloka, Vairagya was given and Bhagavan gave practice, abhyas. Practice Vairagya. And in this, the control of the senses, Shama, Dama, Upariti, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhan, the methodology required to conquer this mind and senses. That is over here mentioned in this shloka. Continuing the next shloka, Bhagavan, in his teachings, now Arjuna is listening. He heard the answers that Bhagavan Krishna gave. And again, it goes back to the work that we have to do on ourselves to make ourselves better. So Arjuna has no more questions with regards to meditation, and he also cannot He complained, Lord, I cannot meditate. And Bhagavan gave even upai for that. So he's left with no questions on meditation. Now, there's a complete shift from this particular topic of meditation. The chapter on meditation ended with 36. Now from 37 onwards, Bhagavan discusses another topic. And not that Bhagavan wanted to discuss it, Arjuna brings it up. So Bhagavan thinks it is appropriate to discuss as Arjuna brings it up. Arjuna uvacha ayati shraddhayopetaha yogachaलितमानसः अप्राप्य योग संसिद्धिं काम गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति. Very, very beautiful question is asked. Arjuna uvacha ayati shraddhayopetaha yogachaलितमानसः अप्राप्य योग संसिद्धिं काम gatim Krishna gacchati. So Bhagavan has given answer to how we can improve our meditation. So Arjuna thought this practice of meditation has to be important, for Bhagavan has discussed it for a great length. And if meditation is of so much importance in the eyes of Bhagavan Krishna, and if Bhagavan Krishna has given the injunction to meditate, Arjuna thought, what if I fall short of meditation in this birth? That is the essence of the question. So his question reads, Ayatihi, the one, Yati is a one who is successful in the endeavors of spiritual practices. But Ayatihi, the one whose efforts fell short of delivering the promises declared by the Shastra. Yati is also a name, a title, actually not a name, a title given to a sannyasi, a renunciate person, for they have walked out on life in pursuit of something great. So Yati is also a title of a spiritual person in the garb of a sannyasi who has renounced everything in the pursuit of absolute. So over here, Ayati is used by Arjuna. So if Yati represents somebody who's integrated, Ayati is someone who falls short of integrating their life, integrating their mind. Ayati, and then Ayati, Ayatihi, the one who is unsuccessful, or the one who has not been able to control their minds. The one who has not been able to control their mind, intellect, complex. But just because they have not been able to control their mind and intellect, bring it about in their wash, that doesn't mean that they are not spiritual beings. Over here, Arjuna says, Shraddhaya upetaha. The person is positively endowed with great faith. They have faith in the teacher. They have faith in the scriptures. Somehow, they fall short of having faith in their own abilities to succeed in the spiritual life, in the spiritual realm. So faith is there in Shastreshu, Guru Vakyeshu, Satya Buddhi Avadharana. The Satya Buddhi is there towards Shastra and Guru Vakya. But it was not translated or transferred into a robust faith in one's own ability to tread this path and successfully arrive at the gateways of dhyana. So ayati shraddhaya upetaha yogat chalita manasaha. Manasaha, this mind, yogat, from the path of yoga, chalit, it ventured away. It walked away from this path of yoga. This mind walked away from the path of yoga and did not complete it. Yoga chalita manasaha. And aprapya yoga samsiddhi. The siddhi declared by Bhagavan Krishna in the shlokas 30, 31, 32 of the integration of Tatatvam Asi, realizing one's own union with the higher, that in essence, I am that was not reached. Aprapya, having not reached, aprapya, then yoga samsiddhi, the siddhi of realization as declared by this path of yoga. Hey Krishna, O Bhagavan Krishna, kam gatim gacchati. What happens to such people who have faith, but their efforts fell short of the attainment of samadhi? And the mind wandered away from the path of yoga. What happens to such a person? And his question continues in this next shloka. Kachinno bhaya vibrashta chinnad brahmiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmana pathi. Kachinno bhaya vibrashtaha chinnad brahmita nashyati. Chinnad brahmiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmana pathi. So he's asking Bhagavan, hey Mahabaho, oh Bhagavan Krishna. Now Arjuna is addressing, so he is addressing obviously Bhagavan Krishna is Mahabaho, because Bhagavan Krishna has also used this word Mahabaho for Arjuna. So depending upon who is saying, this Mahabaho applies to the other. As Arjuna is saying this, obviously he is referring to, O Lord Krishna, Hey Mahabaho, he's saying that Ubhaya Vibrashtaha. Ubhaya meaning both places. Vibrashtaha, fallen from. What are the two places he fell from? First is he kept his mind and senses under control and he deprived himself of the pleasures of this world because he remained in control. And the second is he did not attain the nirvikalpaka samadhi. Having given up the joys of this world for the sake of meditation and not reaching the goal of human birth, fallen from both of these. At least he could have enjoyed khao piyo mo judao. वो भी उसने छोड़ दिया. Didn't enjoy this world, for he put forth efforts for spiritual attainment. And staying in this spiritual path was not able to quite reach the highest. So even that was not attained. So, Hey Mahabaho, Ubhaya Vibrashtaha Brahmana Pathihi Apratishto Brahmana Prathi. Not having attained pratishtha, apratishtaha, not having gained the kingdom of Brahman, not having reached this Brahman, and not just that, having lost pratishtha of this world and pratishtha of that. So apratishtha, without any place of abidance. He's not abiding in Brahman, nor is he abiding in the joys of the Bhuloka. So apratishtaha Brahmana Pathi Vimudaha. Over here, this deluded soul, Vimudaha, Kachin, Bhagavan, Kaschit, Kachin, Ubhaya Vibrashta, Chinnad Iva. Bhagavan, will this person be Chinnad Iva, just like the clouds which are gathered, the monsoon clouds are just getting ready to drench Mother Earth, and comes terrifying winds which takes the clouds away. Not only does it takes the cloud away, but scatters them and dries them of their moisture. And that cloud which was ready to bear great amount of rain just disappeared into the thin air. Is this what happens to the soul who falls from the enjoyment of the Bhuloka and doesn't get a chance to enjoy the promised joy of Samadhi on this path of Dhyana Yoga? Do they get destroyed? Bhagavan, Chinnad Brahmiva Nashyati. Will they get destroyed like a monsoon cloud? So imagine how much thought Arjuna has given. When Bhagavan teaches meditation, And Arjuna is impressed by what is promised as samadhi and the samya avastha of mind, the tranquility of the mind, the joy and the infinite happiness of the mind, which is what every jiva yearns for. And when a jiva doesn't get this, Arjuna wonders what happens to such a person. Do they disappear into the thin air? Powerful question. And continuing, his thoughts are now in 39th shloka. Etan me samshayam Krishna chetum arhasya sheshatah twadanya samshayasya syat chetta twadanya samshayas. I'm having difficulty. This print is not good. Twadanya samshayas samshayasya asya chetan hyupapadyate. Sorry. Etan me samshayam Krishna chetum arhasya sheshatah twadanya samshayasyasya chetana hyupapadyate. Sorry. So, Arjuna is saying, Bhagavan, hey Krishna, etan me samshaya, this is my doubt. Chetum arhasya asheshatah. Bhagavan, you ought to remove this doubt of mine about what happens to this particular jiva who falls away from the joys of the bhuloka and doesn't attain the higher samadhi as promised of dhyan yoga. Tvad anyaha, other than you, samshayasya, asya samshayasya, this doubt of mine, tvad anyasya, other than you, cheta, the one who is remover of this doubt, na hi upapadyate. There is no person equivalent to you who can eradicate this doubt of mine about the destiny of a jiva when they fall from both places. So, Bhagavan now is going to give answer to Arjuna's doubt. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Parthanaiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit kraschit durgatim tata gacchati. So Bhagavan is answering Arjuna, and Bhagavan is saying that Partha naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyana kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Bhagavan answers, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So Bhagavan says, Parth, hey Parth, Prutha Putra, one of the names of Arjuna. He's saying, Partha naiva iha na amutra vinashah tasya vidyate. Bhagavan is saying, this soul was deprived of the joys of this world and didn't reach samadhi. And from this path of yoga chalita manasa, a person met premature death or whatever, was not able to complete sadhana in this birth. So Bhagavan gives assurance that this jiva does not disappear. Not from this world, not from the other. What does that mean? That means both of them are possible for him. And we will see, nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tat gacchati. What a beautiful assurance Bhagavan has given. When somebody lives their life under control, senses are under control, mind is under control, they live a disciplined life. Such a person will not hurt the universe around them. And such a person, Bhagavan labels them Kalyanakrit, the one who has brought about glory, the one engaged in auspicious activity, in good deeds and divine deeds. What divine deeds did he do? The divine deeds that he or she did is live a life of control. And in the process, the world benefited because there was one less vulgar human being in this world. And that is more important than anything else. They may not have built temples, they may not have done so much dhanam because they didn't have that much to do dhanam. They didn't have education to even give the dhan of vidya to somebody else. Such a person who has lived a very quiet, controlled life of one's own senses and one's own mind under control. Bhagavan calls such a person Kalyanakrit, the one who is a doer of auspiciousness. Nahi Kalyanakrit kaschit durgatim tat gacchati. Bhagavan is referring to Arjuna. First line is Partha, the son of Prutha, Kunti Putra. And in the second line, he is referring to Arjuna as, because he is a one who has done good, my son, Tat, O son. Look at the glory of Bhagavan. First line, he addresses Arjuna as the son of Prutha. And in the second line, he addresses Arjuna as my son. Kalyanakrit, you are now my son. And if you are my son, hey Tat, Durgatim Nagachati. You will never ever have ill fate in your life. This is a promise Bhagavan makes over here. A state of grief, a state of ill-being, durgati, nagachati. The person will never ever become lost in this world. What very beautiful, very beautiful. Bhagavan is referring to Arjuna as Tat. So, oh my son, you will not be destroyed. Then what will happen? Next shloka. Bhagavan says, Prapya punya krutan lokan ushitva shashvati samaha shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga brashto bijayate. Prapya punya krutan lokan. Such a person, Bhagavan says, Arjuna, prapya punya lokan. Punya, prapya punya krutan lokan. Lokan, the higher worlds. Prapya, having attained. How? Punya krutan, by having done good deeds. Ushitva shashvati samaha. Shashvati samaha, in many hundreds and hundreds of years, he will live in the divine higher worlds over there. Our Shastra speaks of the 14 lokas, you know, Bhu, Bhuva, Suva, Mahajana, Tapa, Satyam, Atala, Atala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala. I'm missing some of them. I don't know all of them by heart. But these 14 lokas, the 7 above and the ones below, you know, these are just a sample of few lokas. There are so many lokas. Yaksha, Kinnara, Gandharva, Naga. Oh, it just goes on and on and on. Basically, lokyate iti lokaha. A loka is where a group of people with similar thoughts dwell. It is called loka. Even in a city, there are several neighborhoods. We may want to live in certain neighborhoods, but we don't have the pocket strength to live over there. So we go to a loka which we can afford. Even the government is called Loka Sabha. It is a loka of politicians. If we go to DC, what do we find? Politicians. Each place has their own unique loka. A technology charged place will have all technical minds. A university town will all have people of high intelligence living over there. Typically, the schools also will be good because the children of professors go over there, etc., etc., etc. So when loka is talked about over here, Ushitva Shashvati Samaha Punyakrutan Lokan, we will go to a loka where we will be united with various jivas of similar thought pattern. That is what is meant. And that similar thought pattern will continue in that loka. Because the vasana is like that. In Gandharva Loka, everybody will have desire for Sangeet, Nritya, Nad. Morning till evening, it is only kacheri every day. That's all. But in a spiritual loka, there will be satsang, divine people, Shashvati Samaha. For a long period, the jiva will live in such a loka, incubate themselves. Their antakarana will be incubated in rich atmosphere. And when that is over, Shuchinam, Shrimatam, Gehe, Yoga Brashto Vijayate. That name of a yogi who has fallen from both places, Bhagavan calls such a person Yoga Brashta, fallen from the path of spiritual unfoldment. And Bhagavan says, Shuchinam, in very divine homes, with very divine parents. Shrimatam, in well-to-do homes, where roti, kapda or makan will be very well taken care of, so that the jiva will have exclusive time for meditation and will be born in the homes of divine parents, where from childhood there will be nurturing towards Shastra Dhyanan, Dhyan, Ityadi Kriya. And that child will grow in leaps and bounds. Because only on Bhuloka, this realization is crystal clear. It is mentioned in Katho Upanishad. So such a yoga prashta arrives in Bhuloka only to enjoy the siddhi promised of dhyanam as nirvikalpaka samadhi. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Prashto Vijayate. What beautiful subject matter is unfolded from meditation. Next week, we are off for spring break. We will continue week after. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.